right, guys, welcome back. Welcome in. Thought I would try to kick your day off this morning. Morning cup of Joe and a Bears update. So, Bears update, meeting tracker, and roster needs. Thought we would run through it. And remember, tonight, Carl and I do our weekly podcast leading up to the draft. So, tune in for that. Love to see you live. We will field a couple questions tonight. So, what I want to go over today is just we know where we are here. Pro days are underway. We got the annual league meetings. I will do an update on the pro days at the end of the video. I want to show our updated team needs because with the additions of Olamide Zaccheaus and Olamide, did I say it right? I think I'm finally getting it right, guys. And Devin Duvernay, we filled those wide receiver spots. I don't think we're necessarily going to be attacking that in the draft. And there's some other spots that could be filled in other ways. Like cornerback, we could bring Jalen Jones back. Some of these could be filled in other ways. So really our primary targets right now should be that running back, tight end 2, depending on how much we're going to use that 12 personnel. Either way, we need a solid tight end 2. We don't have one right now. And then linebacker is going to be a core need, especially this year moving into next year. Then you have to remember Andrew Billings on the last year of his contract. We still need another edge rusher to come in and compete in this deep class, and then some depth on the offensive line. But you look at that. We have 7 draft picks and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots left. And really, some of those spots at the end there aren't really core critical needs here with cornerback and safety. We do have 4 safeties on the roster. Will we attack it? We'll go over some of the updated visits here in just a second. But let's look at the roster for now. Here's where we stand with all our positional needs. And if they're X'd out, that means they've signed with another team. So we've got Travis Homer, DeAndre Swift, Ian Wheeler, Roshan Johnson. Will one of them get relegated to the practice squad once we draft a running back? We'll find out very soon. We move on to the offensive line, where I've now updated and I put backup competition. You can even include Jordan McFadden and Chris Glazer in there. But I think these two, which is Ricky Stromberg and Doug Kramer, will kind of fight for that role. With Drew Dahlman signing and clearly being our number one, Ryan Bates could fill in an emergency as well. I really see us bringing in another tackle. It could be a left tackle, and Karan Amagachi could move to the swing. It could be Karan moving inside, and because we know Josh Connerly is now scheduled to be a top 30 visit with the Bears. We'll get into that in a minute. But I really see us drafting 2 offensive linemen in whatever capacity that is. We know we can flex some of those around in different capacities. Tevin Jenkins and Matt Pryor still haven't been signed by other teams, so we'll see what happens there. We get to the receivers and tight ends, and I'm feeling pretty good about this offensive wide receiver room. I'm feeling good about our receivers. I'm not saying we couldn't add more, and we absolutely could. Those who don't know, Rondell Moore did end up signing with the Vikings, and Mecole Hardman ended up signing with the Packers, so division rivals. But Devin Duvernay fills a very specific role with us. And those who don't think the return game is important, field position is huge. Why do you think we drafted Torrey Taylor? Field position is a huge part of the game, so all 3 phases, offense, defense, and special team are important, and the Bears are doing their part to fill these out. So none of these guys have signed anywhere else, though, which is very interesting, that are some of our core guys from last year. Colin Johnson's jersey number has been taken by Maurice Alexander, so I would think he's not on his way back. Usually they don't do that unless they're going to bring someone back, so I think these guys are all on the way out. We'll see what happens, though. Get to the linebackers. I did fix it. Nickelbacks is fixed. Linebackers, nickelbacks, I do see a need there for a linebacker to be drafted. We've interviewed some high level ones and some that could go back and forth between edge and linebacker. So we'll see what the Bears end up doing. But I do see us picking up a linebacker somewhere in the draft. I'm not going to try to speculate here where those needs will be felt at this moment. Cornerback can still be filled by Jalen Jones. We have not tendered his restricted free agent status. We didn't do that. That's done by now. I would think we could pick up Doug Coleman as well at safety. We'll see what happens there. But we did pick back up Amir Speed. He could fill in there, or we could still sign Jalen Jones. It's not too late. We'll see what happens with Alex Cook coming over. Maybe he fills that safety need as well. I don't pretend to know exactly what Ryan Poles is thinking or cooking. But this is what we have happened so far. So here's the Bears who have signed elsewhere. We already showed that. Leave it up for 2 seconds because we've already explained that one. The All-Star games, here's who we met with. This isn't nearly as important as this, and some things did change here, some updates of who's been reported to have visited with the Bears. So this is the confirmed. The Bears could have met with 60 people at the Combine. Now, we have 36 now reported, that were met with, and some of them changed. You can see some additions here if you haven't seen it. Cam Scattaboo has now reported that he has met with the Bears at the Combine. Donovan Jackson was another big one. He met with the Bears at the Combine. Darian Porter met with the Bears at the Combine. So those are some of the big change updates, and I like all three of those, to be honest. We would hope for this one to be a later one. Cam Scattaboo could be a pickup in the second or third round. So the Bears are exhausting all options here. You can tell their train of thought is not stuck on one player at 10. In fact, many of these players could be the 10th overall pick. Mason Graham, Shamar Stewart, Tyler Warren, Omarion Hampton, Ashton Genty, Tyler Booker, Will Campbell, Josh Simmons. There's a lot of offensive linemen on this list. So you can see the Bears are really just keeping their options open at this point. And I would think that's how they're conducting this as they go throughout. But here is the updated, and this is new. This is a new one I've done. Updated scheduled top 30 visits. So scheduled for the Bears, Mason Taylor, tight end out of LSU, Josh Connerly, junior offensive tackle out of Oregon. You'd think both of these would be round 2 targets. In my opinion, Ashton Genty, round 1, Will Campbell, round 1. Those are both round 1 targets. So these are the scheduled top 30 visits. And Jalen Walker, now it's rumored that he has a top 30 visit, not confirmed, but the Bears at the Georgia Pro Day, according to multiple reports, spent significant time doing individual workouts with him and spending time with him at Georgia's Pro Day. So that could be another twist there for a first-round pick. The Bears could be targeting Jalen Walker as well. So that's kind of big news right there. He's not confirmed for a top 30 yet, but the Bears did spend significant time at his pro day with him. So here's some of the completed pro days. I've already showed this before. You can pause it if you want. I'm not going to go over every single one of these. And I've highlighted players. What are in these boxes are players that I've highlighted that are potential fits for the Bears. So players that you should keep your eye on and keep watch with. These are completed, but tomorrow, since this one's already, you'll see the slide for this one is so stacked. I decided to point out today, March 20th, the only one of note here to really note is Charles Grant, who on PFF's big board is 94th, a little later on some other boards. Very versatile. He could play anywhere on the offensive line. Tackle, I don't see him being a tackle with his size at the next level, but guard, center, someone the Bears could be keeping their eye on. So as we go through here, here's the Big 12 Pro Day. I pointed this out before. A lot of big names and a lot of players that have stood out so far at that Pro Day. So there's the Big 12 Pro Day still going on through tomorrow. And then here's from the ones from earlier, from yesterday that I pointed out and the day before. So some of those players. You can pause this if you want. I'm not going to go over every one of these each time I do this, but I have pointed out some of the ones that make sense. And the Bears should be keeping an eye on some of these players. And then here's the ones upcoming this next week and towards the end. And then as we get right into here, that's when you'll start hearing, as these wrap up and we get to this last period, then the league meetings happen on March 30th, right around this last weekend. As they happen right in there, then you'll start hearing about all the top 30 visits. We'll hear about some that are scheduled in advance. That happens this time of year right now, so you'll hear that, but then you'll really start hearing right at the end of the month and right towards the second as we get into that period of time, the ones that the Bears are meeting with. So I'm trying to give you guys an update every single day, trying to give you a little recap, and then as news breaks, obviously, like yesterday, and we signed Devin Duvernay. I get on as fast as I can with my other job, and I get you guys updated, but I do appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in and being a part of this channel. I do appreciate it. I want to let you guys know that it's fun to interact with you guys. It's fun to keep you guys as updated as I possibly can. Hopefully, I've become a source for you guys to be able to enjoy the offseason, to enjoy the Chicago Bears, because I enjoy doing this with you guys. So I appreciate it. If you haven't hit the like button, please do that. If you haven't subscribed, I appreciate you doing that as well. Hit the notification button. Get updated every time I go live, every time I post something. I am trying to keep you guys updated. That will be the best way, is if you subscribe and keep those notifications on. Till next time, da Bears, and bear down.